Yeah, hey, Chris.
Hey, Ken.
Hey.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect such a flippant way of introducing. Hey, Kenneth.
Hey, Chris.
Is there something strange in the neighborhood?
Is there someone I should call?
I think there is. I think it's wait, the shirt you're wearing? Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
I almost played the music, but then I was like, you'd have to edit that right out.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
I was literally this close, and then I was like, yeah, no, we can't.
We can do it. Pull up the lyrics right now. We'll sing it.
Oh, yeah, no, I meant like the actual song itself.
The actual song? Yeah, copyright strike.
Oh,
Rest in peace, Ghostbusters. You've joined our first episode in
That's right, yeah. In
the
exile.
Afterworld of Camcast that get pulled from YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Ghostbusters.
Geek Pantsers, we're doing Ghostbusters. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's not even an anniversary episode. We didn't wait till 2024 to do this.
Oh no, I'm glad that we didn't, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, we had 2 episodes in between Riddick and number 100, and it's like, what do we do? Well, we haven't done Ghostbusters yet.
Yeah, but we've had the itch to do Ghostbusters for quite some time, and this actually just felt right
from the beginning
up to our monumental 100th episode.
Yeah,
to do these two, because we're gonna do Ghostbusters, and then we're gonna do Ghostbusters 2.
Right. We're going to do the only 2 Ghostbusters movies.
No, there's
yeah, I know. And you know what? It's not a bad movie. But it's not Ghostbusters.
So this was released in 1984. You had mentioned that earlier.
Yep. It
was budgeted for approximately 25 to 30 million. There's some discrepancies there. But it boxed office gross was 296.4 million, which is crazy. Although I have read, I saw 296, but I've also read 286 at another place too.
It was 229 domestically, and then worldwide wasn't really a big thing in the 80s. But I believe that score there is from a Ghostbusters re-release added on to the original.
The 296?
Yeah, so the original 229 plus whatever the re-release made in the 90s or whatever they had.
All right, well, regardless, that's a huge multiplier, especially for largely a comedy movie. You know?
Comedy, but let's be honest.
Director is Ivan Reitman, who did...
The first movie is quite horror too. I mean, it's scary.
Well, the first movie is very much like Ninja Turtles in that it's more adult than you would think, right? Because, for me, the first instance of Ghostbusters was the real Ghostbusters cartoon. So I watched that first. Then I watched the movie. So when you do that, it's a little bit different because, of course, Slimer's hanging out. He's like their pet / mascot, right? So then when you watch this, every time I watch it, is obviously I get older, so I see more, right? Yeah. So when I first watch it, I didn't know that the joke was the ghost was blowing Ray Stantz. I didn't know that. I didn't get that. I just knew that this ghost was undoing his pants. Oh, that's weird, but okay.
I just go cross-eyed. Don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I guess I would be too if the ghost is taking my pants off. Seems so weird, right? Then I was older, and then I'm like, oh, that's a ghost blowy. Okay, all right.
A ghost blowy.
Then I get older, and then I go, why the fuck would they even, put that in, right? It's just a funny little, they almost just went let's just do that and see what happens. If they cut it, they'll cut it, right? Written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis.
Yeah, and apparently an uncredited writing credit for Rick Moranis.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff he did with Louis Tully was him, specifically.
Yeah, all ad-libbing.
Like that entire scene at the party, he ad-libbed the entire thing, and they were all just like, okay, That's fine. Let's
Yeah.
keep this guy. Because originally they had John Candy in mind.
They had a lot of different people in mind. I mean, like, well, I mean, even like Dan Aykroyd, when he originally wrote this, it was a straight up horror movie.
Yep, and it also didn't take place. It took place a lot of off-world stuff, really.
Yeah, because I mean, like,
was,
his family hunts ghosts. They're friggin' ghost people, like real life ghost people.
Yeah, he's very much invested in this. I believe it was Harold Ramis who was kind of like when he came on board, he was just like, oh, okay, some of this stuff. Like, as an example of how crazy it was, you would have saw Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like, that's crazy to think that that's how they were going to start the movie.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the friggin' the gray woman or whatever her name was.
Who, the final woman?
No, the library.
Oh, in the library.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even that alone is a freaky opening. That opening scared the shit out of me.
Yep. Oh yeah. Even now, like I had said, we were ranting about what is it, Ghostbusters Hear the Call?
Yeah.
How the special effects are really, really cool. They were great special effects. I just didn't. They were too CGI for me.
Yeah.
Whereas like this here, like obviously we're talking like stop motion and like green screen stuff, but this looked like really gritty and it looked more real than it should have, right?
Yeah.
For me anyway. But like, yeah, so John Candy was one that they were going to get, but he didn't get the character. This was originally written for like Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, and John Belushi, which was crazy. Like, I read where Aykroyd's like, I was writing a line for John Belushi, and then I got the call that he passed away, and I was like, fuck.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Ernie Hudson too. Like, I mean, he lucked out because, like you said, it was Eddie Murphy's, and Eddie Murphy it didn't click with him, so he said no.
Which I can see. Like, I honestly, like, the guys that are in this movie, it's so funny. Like, the guys that are in this movie, I couldn't imagine them like anyone else in these roles at all.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how Ghostbusters Afterlife handles this. You know,
I
do like that they're going with more of like a spiritual sequel as opposed to a straight up sequel. Like,
I like that too. Egon's grandkids, and then I don't know. Like, I know all the originals are in here. I don't know how they're going to fit in yet. Like, I can only assume they come to help this family at some point.
or in some sort of a mentor guidance thing. Because like at least it'll be a lot better than the shit that we got in Hear the Call. Yeah. I hated every single cameo. I was like, they should not even have done it. It made me so mad.
Yeah, I mean, nameless cameos are one thing, but like Bill Murray straight up pissed me off because he said no to Ghostbusters 3 for years and years and years and years and years, and then Harold Ramis dies, and then he goes, "Oh, you guys are rebooting it? I'll do an actual character in this movie."
Yeah, he might as well have been Walter Peck.
He was the Walter Peck of that movie.
Yep. But anyway, let's go through the roll call. So like I said, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, they wrote it. You got uncredited for Rick Moranis.
Yep.
So Bill Murray, Dr. Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd, Dr. Raymond Stantz, Harold Ramis, Dr. Egon Spengler, Ernie Hudson, Winston Zeddemore.
Yep. He ain't a doc.
Yep. Then we got Sigourney Weaver as Dana Barrett / Zool, the gatekeeper. Rick Moranis as Louis Tully / Vince Clortho, the keymaster.
Yeah.
Annie Potts as Janine Melnitz, which I thought was interesting was that she never wore the glasses. And out of the blue, Ramis took the glasses off one of their makeup people, put it on her, and was like, that's it. So every scene she's in, she had to take the girl's glasses before she started filming.
That's a nice tidbit.
And then we've got Slavica Jovan as, hold on. Actually, no, I'm going to skip back one. William Atherton as Walter Peck, who is so good at being a douchebag that I don't think I've ever seen him play a good guy.
He's a perfect douchebag though. I mean,
Like every single movie, Die Hard 1, 2, douchebag, to the point where if I see him in a movie, I'm like, he's a douchebag. I don't even need to see the rest of the movie because he's a douchebag. So I mentioned Slavica Jovan. She plays Gozer, the Gozerian, the Destructor, the Destroyer, Vulgus Zildrahar, Lord of the Zebulia, and Scourge of the Testaments. That's every single one of them.
is that everyone?
That's every single one. That's actually the part of the speech that she says at the very end, or he, she, whatever Gozer decides to identify as.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting was that Gozer was also supposed to be a man, but then when they saw Slavica, they were like, let's go with that sort of androgynous. What's his face?
Ooh, Bowie?
The Goblin King from Labyrinth, David Bowie.
Oh, Dave Bowie, yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, oh, we'll do this kind of thing, and it works perfectly. Although I thought it was kind of hilarious. I don't know if you noticed.
It's funny too that Ivan Reitman does the voice for Gozer.
Oh no, I read someone else does the voice for her. But okay.
Oh.
I didn't write it down just because I was like, I don't really care. The cool part I thought was kind of interesting though is that even though Gozer is like over a millennia years old, thought to wear heels at the very end.
Why
Said,
not?
hey, look,
why not?
I'm gonna be wearing some weird clothes, but those heels, yeah, they lift my bum, so I better wear them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I look hot standing next to my terror dogs.
Yeah. So that's it. That's it right there in a nutshell.
That's the cat. Well, and David Margialas as the mayor.
Yeah, I wasn't adding him.
Yeah, well, you were too busy writing down 100 names for Gozer. What's the count?
6.
6?
6.
6, but each name has like 4 different words.
I like the Gozer the Gozerian, where it's like
Gozer the Gozerian.
Okay.
I love that one too. Yeah, Chris the Chrisarian.
Yeah, Christopherian.
Christopherian.
It works a little bit better when you say Christopherian. Actually, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
it's not too bad. Yeah. So that's the roll call. You know what? This is seriously like the last couple of Camcasts I've said like one of my favorite movies of all time, and this is no different. This is literally one of my favorites of all time. This one I've actually seen as of last Halloween. That's how recent I've seen this movie.
Yeah, I've watched this movie so many times that
I've watched it so many times that I almost didn't rewatch it for this, but I was like, nah, you know what? I don't really need an excuse to watch this movie again, but I have a perfect one, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to watch this movie again.
Never gets old.
I'm super glad I did because I actually noticed a couple of things that I hadn't noticed, and one of the things that I had noticed but I forgot about, and this one I'll say right now just because it's early enough. Motherfucking Reginald VelJohnson in this movie, and guess what he's playing? A cop again. I know what. He's in for half a second, but still.
He could be the same cop from Die Hard. We wouldn't even know.
No, because Die Hard isn't set in New York.
Well, I know it's L.A., but the character could have moved from New York to L.A. That
No,
puts John McClane in the Ghostbusters universe.
I'm not going to accept that, but I will accept that it's the same cop from Family Matters. I will accept that.
Was Family Matters in New York?
I think it was actually Chicago. So maybe you're right, and they just moved around a lot.
He hops, yeah.
First they went to LA, and then they went to Chicago. I'm pretty sure it was Chicago, actually.
Yeah. After Ghost and Demons in New York and
how dare you treat
down.
Me like Donald Trump, where you correct my bullshit in real time whenever this shows up next week.
Yeah, I mean, he's just very much typecast as a cop all the time.
And the best part is like he hasn't changed his appearance, so he's still just that
same.
the same, like the bit of a belly, that just that kind of like almost fatherly like cop, where you would hope that if you got arrested, it would be by him.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, sure, you get arrested, but he'd scold you like a father would and say, hey, look, I'm disappointed in you. And you'd have to be like, yeah, okay, I'll be better. And that's that.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of things that I learned.
All right.
This part I knew, but this will add to it. So I knew of the real Ghostbusters cartoon. As first Ghostbusters cartoon I watched, then I watched the movies. Okay, fine. Many years later, I was watching TV, and remember when they used to do that channel for the guide?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So YTV shows up, Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my mind. I went, oh my God, I'm going to watch Ghostbusters. This is so cool. I go to it at the same time that it says to go to it, and it says the Ghostbusters. Completely not what I was expecting at all. But it was a cartoon, and they were hunting ghosts.
Yep. With a monkey.
With a fucking ape. But here's what I learned. That cartoon, which came out like a year after the first one, like the real Ghostbusters came out. And I think it was about a year later that one came out. But it's actually a sequel to a show that was in 1975 called Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
And that monkey is supposed to be the same monkey from the original one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
so you're welcome, Geek Pantsers, for a bit of pointless knowledge.
And that's why the first Ghostbusters movie was almost called Ghost Breakers.
Yeah. Like,
in fact,
they were literally towards the end of their filming where they're like, fuck it, we're just calling it Ghostbusters.
They were shooting like probably half the amount of scenes, and they would do everything as Ghostbusters and then reshoot the same scenes and call themselves Ghost Breakers through it.
That's what I mean. So like by the halfway point, they're like, fuck it, we're not doing this.
Yeah, it's Ghostbusters. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, we don't care. We're just going to keep going. And I couldn't imagine doing that. Like, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they say Ghostbusters a lot.
Yeah.
But enough where even I would have been like, could we just pick one? And could we say Busters? Because that sounds a lot cooler than Breakers.
Breakers, Ghost Breakers.
Well, especially because, like, the thought process that Dan Aykroyd had for this movie was that it's essentially just like rat catchers.
Hmm?
You know, they're rat catchers. You see a ghost, you call them up, they catch the ghost, and then that's it. You go about your day. No big deal. And I was like, that's actually first time I've ever heard that was today. And I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting take on it. And then
why didn't they call it Ghost Catchers?
That also sounds stupid.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like if suddenly they're going to reboot and they're like, yeah, we're going to call ourselves the Ghost Catchers, that would be me going like, I'm not watching the rest of this movie.
I'm out.
I don't need to see any more of this Ghost Catchers you speak of.
Ghost Catchers.
Oh, so getting back to like this being one of my favorite movies of all time, I can't help but feel that this was the reason why I was so critical of the reboot. Because this is like this is like Ninja Turtles. This is like holds a special place in my heart where, like young kid growing up watching these movies, you're just like, you're attached to these characters.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you watch the reboot and they're like, it doesn't even like call attention to the stuff that happened prior. They're like, none of that happened. This is all new. And it's a totally different type of movie than what I would have liked. Like, I mean, I didn't expect it to be like this one where it's a comedy horror. I would have expected to be closer to the second one.
Yeah.
Where it was more for kids, but it was still adult enough that like you could watch it later on and still go, yeah, because it's not like it's a bad movie. It's a good movie.
No, it's a good movie.
I rewatch it,
but it's very
almost
much
as much as this one.
Yeah, it's been very much, the kids really changed the way.
Well, and I mean, like, it makes perfect sense because when this movie came out, like a week later, the cartoon came out. The sequel comes out 5 years later. That cartoon was still going. So it makes sense that you've got now a movie that's coming out and you don't want to alienate all the kids that bought the toys, bought the cartoons, watched the cartoons and all those things. So it makes sense to do, like, in retrospect, I go, oh, okay, that makes sense. makes sense that they would go there. And it's similar to Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, where you're just like, it makes sense. As much as I
Yeah.
don't like it, and I wish they would have retained more of what made the first movies so amazingly special, I get it, and I don't hate them for it.
Mhm.
Turtles 3, however,
Ew.
yeah, and Ghostbusters Hear the Call.
Mhm.
So I really hope that Afterlife is
That's
really
not an
good.
Afterbirth.
I was actually going to say Afterburn.
Oh, Afterburn.
That's gross though, Kenneth.
The ghosts have figured out a way to have babies. Oh no.
Yeah, and then they left all the afterbirth around. Anyway. So let's see, what have I covered? I've got favorite movie, special effects. Special effects are incredible.
Yeah, they're
So
very
good. We've
much
got,
like Poltergeist came out around the same time. Those two movies, it's
yes,
unbelievable what they were doing.
but like we've got like animatronic stuff. We got stop motion.
Yep.
We've got weird trickery with like they did that Nightmare on Elm Street thing where Zool is pushing through the door and it's like the claw.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
that. Even the scene where like the hands are coming out of the chair. That's
Yeah.
actually that's a scary scene. That one there because
And
you're
then the
just like, oh,
fridge.
I couldn't imagine just that. It reminded me of the Labyrinth with the hand scene,
Yeah.
2 hands. And I remember even as a kid, I watched that and I was like, that seems wrong. I don't know why, but it seems wrong that all those hands can just go wherever. But anyway, the scene with the eggs, like how the eggs started cooking, I was like, I wanted to find out how they did that. I got wrapped up in time, so I didn't figure it out. But I was just like, I forgot like all the tons of special effects in this movie. And even if this movie cost 40 million, that's still a crazy amount of special effects in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Definitely.
And they all looked absolutely fantastic. Like it's dated because we're talking like it's almost a million years ago.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
what is it like?
I mean,
It's almost,
like Slimer and Stay Puft still look insane. They look so good.
oh, there's like,
So good.
yeah, but like
The terror
everything
dogs
looks,
look good. The terror dogs, they look like real dogs hopping around. It's freaking creepy.
yeah, like they're so good. I love too, like where you can, like when they're running, that's
Yeah.
stop motion. Love it. I'm a sucker
Yeah.
for stop motion.
That like
Then
slow
anytime they're
gallop.
not, it's like puppet animatronic stuff. You're like, ugh, it just looks so cool.
Yeah.
But I love it because like you know that you could touch most of these things.
Exactly. That's why I just, even though CG is like so good now, I still just feel like practical is the way to go. It's so much more real feeling.
Well, maybe not necessarily the way to go, but like kind of make it sort of even handed because I recently rewatched both Amazing Spider-Mans.
Okay.
Yep. I got through both of them.
You did it.
Yeah. And especially in the first one, second one, actually they're both pretty bad for it. It's almost exclusively all CGI for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which actually bothers me more so than the MCU stuff because like they came off of Spider-Man, like the Raimi trilogy, and I think it's 3 years in between, 3 or 4. They're not that far removed,
Yeah, I know they're close.
and you literally have like Raimi where he's sandwiching real CGI, real CGI, real CGI. So even in fight scenes where he's fighting Goblin or Dr. Octopus or Venom, Sandman, whatever, there's still back and forth between real and CGI where you're just like, that's crazy. Like, and it still looks so cool. Whereas then you get into Amazing Spider-Man and of course MCU, less and less.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like it doesn't have to be all CGI or all practical, but a nice balance would be great.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I hope that Afterlife does that.
I have a feeling that Afterlife will, just because of everyone that's involved with it, and also because Hear the Call was such a critical and financial failure that there's no way that they would look at that and go, okay, the only reason why that didn't work was because it's all women. That's the only reason. So we're going to do the exact same thing, but we'll pepper it with the original cast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, and the way that teaser trailer came about, like, I mean, really, my only concern is the fact that it's in a small town in the Midwest. Like, it's not actually in New York.
It's going to be weird to see like a Ghostbusters movie not in New York. I mean,
Yeah,
New York
it's
is like
almost
as
like
much
seeing
a character
Spider-Man
in
in
those
London.
movies, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, they'll be different. I enjoyed seeing like the Ecto-1 going through like a field and shit, though. I was just like, visually, that's really cool. I mean,
Although I don't know, I don't see the entire movie in the Midwest though.
no?
No, I think in the first act and maybe halfway through the second for sure. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being in New York. I mean, every single one of the Ghostbusters are living in this town? No. There's no way.
No, it'd be funny if like the Ghostbusters are in it just over a Zoom call. That's all it is.
You know what? If that actually happens, and we'll have it on record that you thought of it.
Me.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Ernie Hudson though. I really do, because like originally he had like a really big story in this. Like, he was like,
he was supposed to be like a former
Zedmore
Air
was
Force
like,
pilot.
yeah, he was in the Air Force. He was coming in right at the beginning of the movie, and then like the day before he went to start shooting, he got a new script. His role was cut in half, and apparently it was because Sony wanted to give more screen time to Bill Murray.
Yeah, which is funny because later they like in the second movie in particular, Bill Murray is critiqued hardcore in the second movie, like big time.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know, like it's tough. Like I feel for it, but I will say though that he owned every scene that he was in though.
Oh,
I'm
big
talking
time.
about
Ernie.
Sorry?
Ernie?
Yeah, Hudson. Yes, Ernie Hudson. Yeah. He owned every single scene, so much so that like I remember as a kid actually not being happy that I didn't have his toy. His was the only Ghostbuster toy I didn't have. To this day, I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't have it.
Yeah, I had the Zedmore figure.
Yeah, I know. I know you had.
I think it was. I don't think it was a movie one though. It was real Ghostbusters, right?
No, it was real Ghostbusters. That's all. Like, because I had.
It was the animated version.
Venkman,
Yeah.
Stantz, and Spangler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I had him, and I think everyone had Slimer.
Everyone.
But I think you had the Ecto-1.
I did have the Ecto-1. I had a lot. I think
I wanted
Zedmore
and Sam Hain. Sam Hain?
Sam Hain. I believe I had the Firehouse too. I think I had the Firehouse too.
I think you did too, actually. No, you did. You did have the
because I remember sliding them down the pole and everything.
That's right. And that came with slime too.
Yeah, it did come with slime. That was awesome.
It's funny when you think about all the toys that came with slime. So Ghostbusters came with slime. Castle Grayskull came with slime.
Yep.
Or was it Grayskull? Skeletor's lair. He had the slime.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be the one with slime.
Yeah. That's right.
Sure.
But even still, like it's just one of those like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, every toy line had slime and caps.
Yeah. And small parts that you could possibly choke on.
Yeah. There was no ages 14 and up back then. It was, I'm 3 and I'm playing with these little parts right now.
I remember the proton packs with the guns, and they had like the
actual proton
streams.
Packs. I never had those. Did you have those?
No, I'm talking about with the toys themselves, though.
Oh, I remember one of my friends had the actual proton packs.
I think it was Craig Brown that had the actual proton pack.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was one that I absolutely
and the
wanted.
Ghost Trap.
And the Ghost Trap was another one. Those are the two So like if I ever went as a Ghostbuster for Halloween, I would have to have both of those pieces.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh. But even the jumpsuits I thought were really cool because they're just straight uniforms. Like,
Yeah.
these are just blue collar dudes that are trapping ghosts. Like, it ties into that whole rat catcher idea, which I thought was really cool. Oh, and this was also the beginning of a lifelong crush on Sigourney Weaver for me. Anyway, I don't know about you.
I believe I watched Ghostbusters 2 before I watched the first. Because I'm thinking about it, 82, and the second came out in 89, so I'd be 7. I think I watched the second first because I don't think I was old enough. My parents didn't think I was old enough to watch the first movie until after I saw the sequel.
I might have been in the same boat, actually. Actually, yeah, I would have to agree. I would have had to have been in the same boat.
I think I
doesn't
watched
change the fact that this Ghostbusters in general started off.
Yeah.
Like a crush on Sigourney Weaver.
Absolutely. Beautiful woman. I mean, and then I remember seeing the ads for Alien 3 going, oh my God, she shaved her head.
Yeah. And then you're like, I still would.
Yeah, I'd still go there. Yeah, absolutely.
This I thought was kind of interesting. I found this out today. Had no idea, but like Slimer was actually modeled after Jim Belushi.
Yep.
Never knew that until today.
Well, John Belushi.
Sorry, yeah. I meant to say John. I have John written down.
But you said Jim?
Which is funny, but I actually said Jim Belushi.
It's an actual person.
Well, K-9 is one of my favorite movies.
K-9's awesome.
It's such a good movie. Which one's better, K-9 or Turner and Hooch? Turner and Hooch. It's not even a question.
Yeah, it's Turner and Hooch.
It's Turner and Hooch.
But Turner and Hooch breaks my heart, man. Oh, such a sad
ending.
ending.
I know, but that ending is also really good too, though.
Yeah.
Sure. In K-9, that doesn't happen. Similar, but it doesn't happen.
Don't forget about Top Dog, the 1994 direct-to-video classic starring Chuck Norris.
As soon as you said Top Dog, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then in my head, I'm going, is that the movie with Chuck Norris? And then you're saying Chuck Norris. So yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Never actually watched it.
It was actually pretty good.
It probably was. I mean, it's Chuck Norris. Like,
yeah.
Even his bad movies are like so bad they're good.
You're not allowed to think they're bad. He'll kill you.
Yeah. In fact, we've invoked his name. We should probably be careful. What I was going to say was this was something that when I was watching it this time around, I never noticed before. But I love this scene where when they introduce Dana, mm-hmm. and it's an overhead shot of the gargoyle almost watching her as she gets out of the cab. Yep. I was like, man, that's so crazy. Like, that's some crazy foreshadowing because, of course, that's the form she ends up later taking.
Yeah.
As who? Zool. Come on.
Zool. Yeah. I knew it was Zool. I'm like, Zool the Keymaster, I'm going to say Keymaster. I'm like, no, it's Zoomaster. No, it's Zool. Zoomaster. Those gargoyles are actual gargoyles on a church in Philadelphia. That's where they got them from.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
It's so cool. That's super cool. Actually, it's the Ecto-1. Love the Ecto-1.
Yep.
Venkman's character is hilarious. Like as a kid watching, like even the second one, but when you rewatch the first one, because you grow up with the cartoon, second movie, and you're like, oh, Venkman is so cool, and he's just so calm and cool under pressure. Just still really cool, but he's actually a total sleazeball.
Oh yeah.
You have to be an adult to realize that he's a total sleaze in this movie.
He's a dirtbag.
He is. He's like, I love the line where she goes, "You don't seem like a professor," and he's like, "Yeah, they're not that cool," or something like that. And she goes, "You're more like a game show host," and I was like, "That's a hilarious burn." Because it's like, yeah, because you're a phony piece of shit. But like, I mean, he is like I do like that he's still really cool and calm under pressure. Like even when it gets crazy at the end, when they're just like, we got to cross the streams, and he's like, we're not supposed to cross the streams, and then then Egon's basically saying, yeah, but order to save the world, we have to at least try, and it might kill us. And he's just like, well, all right, I love this plan. Let's get going. And you're just like, this is pretty, like, it almost makes up for the sleaziness, like, in the early parts of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, so much of his stuff was ad-libbed too. Like, apparently
Well, I mean, we're
every
talking,
scene
like,
is half ad-libbed by him.
it doesn't surprise me because, like, these guys are all, like, Second City alumni.
Yeah.
So, in fact, like, I think Ernie Hudson is the only one that's not really a part of that, like, improv background.
And that's another reason why I'm so impressed by Ernie Hudson in this, because he right away he's bouncing off them like without a problem. Like, the chemistry's great.
And, you know, like, in retrospect, his character, it's disappointing that they took, it's disappointing that they cut his character as much, because, like, his character is the perfect entry point for, like, us, because, you know, like, when we are introduced to all three of them, Spangler, Stantz, and Venkman, they're all professors and they're all in the paranormal aspects, and Venkman's obviously just using it to get laid.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all part of that world. Zedmore is literally just like I believe in God. I saw an ad in the paper. Like, I'm just a regular dude. So, like, that would have been
I honestly, I wouldn't be
over.
surprised if, like, when the day comes, and it will come one day, when they remake Ghostbusters, if that's how they go about it, making Zedmore like the main character and everything's from his point of view.
Yeah, it would make sense. It is a bit of a missed opportunity. Not that I'm taking anything away, because, like, to me, I feel like this is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But I can see, for a guy that's watched movies his entire life, and you can tell when a character is supposed to be that entry point into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did miss a step by not including him more so, or giving him a bigger role. But you're right, like, he bounces off these guys perfectly.
Yep. Yep. Did you know that both Egon and Peter were both offered to Michael Keaton?
That I did not know. Wow.
He turned them both down. And then eventually, Harold Ramis just went, you know what? I'm going to play Egon. I feel like that's the only way to go. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, he came in to, like, help with, and started helping with the
exclusively as a
script,
writer.
and then
He was only going to
like,
write.
You know what? I'm going to be this guy. And they all just kind of went, yeah, actually, this works. This works well.
Yeah.
But, like, Bill Murray was tough because they've said repeatedly, like, he's the worst because he almost, like, he doesn't commit until, like, literally the last possible second. And then all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, I'm in this movie now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where we're at.
Yeah.
The weird aloofness that is Bill Murray.
I read that he also, in order for him to come on this movie, he told Sony or Columbia Pictures, you have to remake this movie from the 40s called The River's Edge, or the Razor's Edge. And I have to be the main character in it. And they went, okay, yep. And they remade the movie immediately after this, and it came out the same year as this.
Yeah, and it didn't do so well.
And then he disappeared to Europe, apparently, for 4 years until he returned for Scrooge.
Yeah, and that actually tied into one of the reasons why it took so long for Ghostbusters 2 to get made.
Yeah,
was because of Scrooge, and because it's Bill Murray. So they're kind of like, yeah, I mean, he'll probably show up on set one day. We don't know. We don't know.
It's Bill. We'll do the movie, and he'll be here.
Well, even like Harold Ramis they brought in Ivan Reitman. Yeah, and with Harold Ramis, those two were part of the reason why Bill Murray's in this movie as well, because they were like, well, like, we can write for him. We know how to kind of handle him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting because, like, Harold Ramis and Bill Murray were in Stripes together, and Ivan Reitman directed Stripes. And that was actually part of it too, because, like, when they brought in Ivan Reitman, he's looking at Aykroyd's script and he's like, this is crazy. Like, this is insane. We can't do half of this shit, especially on a tiny budget. I read that he said approximately 30 million was what they said for budget, and he basically was just like, I just thought like 3 times what the budget was for Stripes made sense. But like it's funny how fantastical these ideas are, because like I said at the beginning, very little of it was going to be set on like in New York. It was almost going to be like in other dimensions and stuff. But even in the sequel, it was supposed to be in Europe for most of it.
Yeah, probably
And then
because they had to go find Bill Murray.
They were like, well, we
You
got to
won't
shoot
come to
around
us,
Bill
so we'll
Murray.
go to
So
him.
if we just start shooting in Europe, he'll probably show up. That's probably what it was. But then they're like, no, we can keep this in New York. And I'm glad that they did, because like you said earlier, New York is very much a part of the Ghostbusters DNA.
Yeah.
That for me, it would be weird. Like even the Midwestern setting is going to be weird. So even if the movie is absolutely amazing, I'm going to be like, yeah, but I wish it would have had something to do with New York.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like Spider-Man Far From Home. 90% of that movie is not in New York. But the second he's in New York swinging around, huge smile on my face. I'm like, yeah, now I want Spider-Man 3 to be entirely in New York.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I don't want to pre-knock Afterbirth, or sorry, Afterlife, but I did that
was all you.
I did that.
That was all you that time.
I know, I did it strictly for you. I wanted you to hear me say
it was all for me. It was all for me.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember how those Ghostbuster toys came with the little containers of Afterbirth slime? Oh.
No. See, that's why I'm saying it for you. So that way we can get that out of the way. But anyway, so Afterlife, like I said, like I feel like because it was just a teaser trailer, we're not going to see New York, but we should.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've always loved New York. That's why I went to New York twice. Got, proposed Adrian.
New York is so cool. You've got Spider-Man, you got Punisher, you got Daredevil, you got the Ninja Turtles.
The entire Marvel universe, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right. You got Captain America.
Universe. And then Ghostbusters.
The Avengers for the most part.
And like
I said Ghostbusters, yeah.
Ghostbusters, Seinfeld, like there's so many reasons I love New York. And like I went to the Hook and Ladder #8, took pictures in front of it and everything. Like it was amazing to see the fire hall in person. Like,
although at this point now, I don't know if I would go to New York.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't. It probably looks like a scene from Mayan Legend now. I think I'll avoid that for a while.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, we have a new subscriber.
Yes.
I just got a pop-up on my screen.
Now?
New subscriber. Zero Monkeys has subscribed to us. Zero Monkeys.
Hey, Zero Monkeys.
Thanks
for subscribing.
It's like he knew we were shooting right now. It's crazy.
We've been on a fairly regular schedule, though, for Wednesday releases. So maybe.
Zero Monkeys.
Okay, Zero Monkeys, let's play a game. In the comments, when you see this, let us know what attracted you to our channel. What made you say, yes, I will subscribe. That's what I want to know.
Yeah. And if it's me, that's cool. That's cool.
Well, obviously, it's going to be partly you at the very least.
I don't know. It could be exclusive. It could
be.
On
screen, it's 50-50.
That's true.
Behind the scenes, it's 80-20.
Right.
And I feel like it might be closer to 90-10 behind the scenes. I'll let the fellow Geek Pantsers figure out what percentage I'm at, but
Chris is talking about body mass, by the way. That's what we're talking. 90-10. No.
That's not fair. You're actually in pretty good shape, so.
I amazingly am. I mean,
it's not amazing. It's just a diet thing. Like, just imagine if you exercised.
I still feel like I could be fucking jacked like a wrestler if I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I've had so many people go like, you got the body shape to like get huge if you wanted to.
Yep.
And I'm just too lazy, I think. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, but still, like they always say, like, it's 90% diet. Well, you're living it right here.
Boom.
Because I knew you when you were much larger.
Well, yeah,
when, your cheeks forced your eyes shut.
I had that health scare a few years ago, and I lost a ton of weight after that.
Yep. Yeah, but still,
And
you
sometimes
maintain the
that's what
diet
you
ever since,
need.
though.
You need that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Hey, you're gonna die. And then like some people, you were just like, okay, so what have I got to do not to die?
Yeah.
I'll do exactly that.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, great.
Yeah. You're going to take these pills to get rid of this problem, but these pills will increase the chances of a heart attack. Oh, okay. So I'm going to stop eating all the crap that I eat right now. Good.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. I feel like these days, most people would just be like, yeah, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing anyway. Who are you, a doctor?
Ugh. Yeah.
You're just telling me that because you want me to eat like different foods.
Yeah. You probably own stakes in these foods.
It's actually a whole thing. I also want you to live longer. Yeah, I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. I don't wear a mask.
I love that you knew right away that it was like an anti-mask thing.
Well, how could it not be?
Oh, yeah. Soundtrack was awesome, too.
Soundtrack's great. Soundtrack is great. The score is by Elmer Bernstein. And I love the score. I love the score because, like, even when they're not doing the whole Ray Parker Jr. music and everything, the score is fun. It's like
the score is really cool. They had the only rule they had for the score was that they didn't want the soundtrack or the score to tell people when to laugh. Which I thought was really interesting. So I was like, oh, well, that's really cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that was really cool. The soundtrack is awesome. I love the soundtrack. I love that. Like, I think what's his face? Ray was given like a week to write the song.
I think it took him like 2 days. He had 2 days or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was a really short amount of time, and he was just like, okay, and
he had no idea what to do.
Masterpiece.
And then his son was running around yelling Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters, and that's where he got it from. Was his son yelling?
Yeah.
History, man.
I think I pretty much talked about. Oh, I laughed about this. So for the most part, special effects look absolutely incredible, absolutely look real, blah, 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 blah. But the scene where parts of the building are falling off at the end.
Yeah.
And the rocks are bouncing off of things. Like there's like a wood barricade bounces off that. I was like, that's kind of funny. Like
it would just went right through it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like break something, but no, it just bounced off. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I couldn't edit around that a bit. Other than that, like, I mean, like I said, this is one of my favorite movies. Halloween's coming up. It's going to be showing up on TV. I'm going to be watching it again, even though I just watched it. I don't envision a time when I won't be watching this movie, actually, to be honest with you. I think I'll be watching it pretty much because I watched it last year and the year before that.
Yeah.
So pretty much every cycle that it shows up, it'll be up on my DVR before I know it.
Yep.
Whether I record it or Michelle records it for me.
It's a perfect movie. And I mean, like, I saw it after the sequel, and after I saw it, even then as a kid, I felt, I think that was better.
Yeah. Yep.
And over the years, it's increased to like, oh, that is better. Oh, that is so much better. Oh, that's
hands down.
The second's not even close to the first. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know why. I think it maybe the kid influence a little bit on the sequel kind of brought it down. I do like the darkness that the first has. There's comedy, but it's creepy. Like, it's, as a horror fan, I'm loving it, you know?
Yeah, so like that's kind of where the changes happen. It's the horror aspects are dialed down.
Yeah, way down.
Because it's not like it's like the second one is insanely hilarious in comparison to the first one. It's not like that. It's just the horror aspects are dialed down. We'll talk about that more in our 99th Camcast.
Yeah. None of them smoke anymore.
Yeah.
They removed that.
Yeah, well, considering like they all smoked in the first one.
Did Egon?
Egon was the only one that didn't.
Egon was the only one that didn't, right? Yeah, okay.
That's because Ernie Hudson smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all smoked. And it was all like, and it was funny because like smoking, like they're like walking around, smoke hanging out their mouth. Like when I smoked, I never did that. I've rarely had it hanging from my mouth. I don't know why. I just couldn't do it.
Sitting there talking to someone with it just going like this in your mouth.
Yeah. So like even as a former smoker, I would see that in movies and I'm always just like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, like I would always be like, smoke, but it would be in my fingers. Like that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Rarely talk with it hanging out of my mouth. I don't know why. It's just one of those things.
Maybe they got like a mouth fetish.
Well, I mean, they say that you have an oral fixation because you're a smoker, right? They say that. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is weird because I wasn't really a huge fan of popsicles. I like them, but I wasn't like, oh, I gotta put that in my mouth.
Yeah. Chocolate popsicles were the bomb.
Chocolate popsicles are great, but like all of them, banana popsicles, creamsicles,
yep,
they're all great.
The rocket one, the blue, white, red.
That was good. Yeah,
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I purchased fuzzy peach popsicles.
Oh, I saw those. Not
as good as you would think.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, they're all right. I enjoy them, but I'm not. It's not like when you have fuzzy peaches and then you're like, well, this is all I'm going to eat for the next 10 days. It's not like that.
Yeah, because fuzzy peaches are amazing.
So, yeah, Geek Pants.
That's it.
Ghostbusters. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yep. If you haven't seen it,
why?
Actually, you know what? You shouldn't even have sat through this. You should have just watched this.
You haven't seen it. It comes down to
come back.
Why haven't you seen it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, in fact, like watching this movie means that you're probably watching one of the best movies that any of these actors have been in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Scrooge is really good, but is it better than Ghostbusters?
No.
The Crow is awesome, but is it better than Ghostbusters?
I do love The Crow.
I'm gonna throw something at you. Good thing we weren't in the same room together, because you would have caught an elbow just for saying that, for even hinting that The Crow is better than Ghostbusters.
It's not. It's not. But it is very close.
Yeah. Oh, it's very, very. Actually, you know what it is? They're on the same playing field. They're level.
I mean, if you were going to talk like all the actors in their other movies, I don't think any of the other actors have something that comes as close to Ghostbusters. Ernie Hudson manages it. He does it.
Well, yeah, even like, because like, I mean, we're all like, ooh, what's that one? Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson.
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation.
That would be my second favorite Murray movie.
That's so close to being as good as Ghostbusters.
That's a masterpiece.
In
fact, Sofia Coppola and Bill Murray have a new movie coming out. Did you see the trailer?
No.
It looks great. In fact, it looks like it could be the same character from Lost in Translation. I was like, is this like a sequel?
Well, it's funny that you say that because, like, when I watched Lost in Translation and then movies after that, you start to get a feel like it's literally just Bill Murray just showing up and being like, I'm just going to do what I want.
Yeah.
So it's very much like we joked about the Born Idiotic.
Yeah.
But like when you watch him in Wes Anderson movies, he's not doing anything other than being Bill Murray.
He's always the same.
Like, what was it? Rushmore? Is that
Rushmore?
And that's him and what's his face?
Jason Schwartzman.
Yes, Jason Schwartzman. So of course, like, so I love that movie, but that's also the first time I saw Jason Schwartzman and was like, this guy's great.
Yeah.
Right. And then you watch like a bunch of Wes Anderson movies in a row, and you're just like, huh. I couldn't tell you how different each character is. Like Bill Murray's character is different, but I mean they are. They just wear different clothes, I guess, is really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say Steve Zissou is probably my favorite.
I was just, like, every time I think of Wes Anderson and Bill Murray, I picture Steve Zissou with his blue suit and everything, his little hat. That's what I picture.
The whole supporting cast, like
the Royal Tenenbaums. But that's what I picture when I think of Wes
Anderson. I love
Tenenbaums
too, but I mean, The Life Aquatic has got to be my favorite Wes Anderson, Bill Murray matchup. It's so good.
Yeah, because like the Tenenbaums, it's a collaboration. Like it's a ensemble piece, is what it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
I think
it's
one of Gene
amazing.
Hackman's final movies too.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually,
Mhm.
yeah. Actually, really, Geek Pants. If you haven't watched Wes Anderson, start watching Wes Anderson.
Do it.
Start with Rushmore.
Do it. I'll put the little bar thing up here, linking you to the
because that's
Born
easy.
Idiotic.
Born Idiotic. I actually watched that clip. I was like, I can't believe that's the clip he threw up, but that's fucking hilarious. The different pastel scenes, and I thought it was awesome that you had the actual breakdown of each movie with the different colors. I was like, that's so fucking funny. That's so great.
I was like, I wonder if I Google search Wes Anderson color palette, if anything will come up.
And of course,
and it did.
Literally like each movie, with the exception of Rushmore, because it's entirely black and white.
Yeah. It's funny.
And then the shot of the Secret Life of Dogs, I was like, oh my God, that's so funny.
All right, everyone, that is the Ghostbusters episode right there. Boom.
That's it. That's all.
Number 98 in the bank.
Bang, bang.
Bang,
That's
bang.
Right.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, do all that stuff that Chris swears makes us lose subscribers.
I just thought it was ironic the second that we started hammering out the whole like
our drop, our numbers going down.
We started losing people.
It's like, what?
Like, if you want to like, share, and subscribe, then you like, share, and subscribe. If you don't, that's fine.
That's fine too.
As long as you're watching, that's really all I ask for.
Also, feel free to check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can listen to this right here, the Geek Pants Camcast, as a podcast on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You watch Chris and I right here on YouTube, the Geek Pants Camcast, where you can see our handsome faces through Zoom.
We're waiting for the big Spotify deal. That's what we're waiting on, the Spotify deal.
Yeah, we're waiting on the Spotify. We're on Spotify. And geekpantsmedia.com. Geekpantsmedia.com.
There is an actual article written by all of us.
All
Myself,
of us. All three
Kenneth,
are on
and
there
Chris
now.
Fedek. Every single person that has anything to do with Geek Pants Media have written an article.
And it's great because it's like it's very much all us as individuals writing stuff. So you could tell how we are outside. Like I'm writing my movie shit. Chris is writing really great pieces.
Pieces?
I know it's going to be pieces. It's going to be pieces, though. The greatness will continue.
It's like a faucet. Once it's turned on, you can't turn it off.
Yeah, broken faucet. And then, Chris Fedek is showing you pictures of the sky, talking about constellations and everything, and very cool stuff. You know,
it's funny how like his is the one where I'm like, yeah, his geek corner is interesting.
Yeah, he's on the geek floor. He's just in another corner of the room.
Like comic books, video games, cartoons, sci-fi. His is like all of those. Well, none of those things. Sci-fi, yes, very much so.
Yeah,
he's into sci-fi more so than I would have thought.
Yeah,
he's also like looking at it from an actual engineering perspective. I think that's what it was, right? Engineering.
That is, yeah, engineering. Yeah, he's on a broader spectrum than we are, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I remember watching the initial board off where I was guest starring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and there's that like rant about like talking about like Jurassic Park and Man of Steel and all that stuff, and it was cool to talk to somebody that had that background, so you could talk about it in those without dumbing anything down. It was refreshing.
It was refreshing.
I have to dumb so much stuff down for you. It's unbelievable.
I believe it.
It's almost appalling.
And end.
By the way, Geek Pantsers, Chris is no longer part of Geek Pants Media. Yeah. He decided to do other things.
Yeah, Chris has been deleted.
He canceled. It's canceled. He's been canceled.
Yeah. Hashtag cancel Christmas.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. That's good. All right, everyone. We'll see you next week for Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.